The gentle winter sunlight streamed through the large glass windows of Rusty Roasters, casting a warm glow on the cafe's centerpiece. A brilliantly decorated Christmas tree. Adorned with shimmering ornaments, golden ribbons, and twinkling fairy lights, the tree radiated a cozy holiday spirit, filling the space with the joy of the season. Yet, the warm and cheerful atmosphere was abruptly shattered by an unexpected moment that left everyone inside holding their breath. We kindly ask you to take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. For you, it's just a small action, but for us, it's a priceless gift and a source of motivation to continue sharing heartfelt, inspiring stories. Please click subscribe today. We are truly grateful for your support and for being here with us. Elon Musk stepped into the cafe, his demeanor contemplative yet undeniably resolute. Dressed in a simple black t-shirt, jeans, and worn sneakers, he moved with quiet confidence. What caught everyone's attention, however, wasn't his unassuming attire. It was the bold red MAGA hat perched on his head, its unmistakable slogan, "Make America Great Again," printed in stark, defiant letters. The Christmas tree, once a symbol of festive brilliance, seemed to dim in its radiance as the cafe's mood shifted. A mix of indescribable emotions rippled through the room, curiosity mingled with unease, surprise intertwined with guarded caution. No one recognized the man as Elon Musk, the billionaire who revolutionized technology and space exploration. To them, he was simply a middle-aged man wearing a divisive hat that carried far more weight than it seemed. In the corner of the cafe, a group of bikers gathered as they did every morning. At their center stood Tucker, a tall, burly man with a rugged appearance and piercing eyes that missed nothing. The moment his gaze landed on Musk's red hat, a spark of anger ignited on his face, flaring like a winter wind fueling a bonfire. With slow, deliberate movements, Tucker rose to his feet, his deep voice cutting through the chatter like a blade. "Hey, buddy," Tucker bellowed, drawing the attention of everyone nearby. "You know wearing that hat in here is like lighting fireworks in the middle of a festival, right?" Elon, unfazed, maintained his calm demeanor. He walked toward the counter, his steps measured, as though Tucker's taunts were nothing more than background noise. But Tucker wasn't one to let things slide. He followed Musk, his heavy boots pounding against the wooden floor, each step brimming with unspoken hostility. "Listen here, pal," Tucker growled, his tone dripping with mockery. "We don't need people like you bringing divisive symbols into this place." The cafe's atmosphere froze. The soft golden glow of the Christmas tree lights seemed to fade under the weight of the tension that now filled the room. All eyes turned toward the man in the striking red hat, as if waiting for the inevitable clash. Musk finally turned to face Tucker, his calm, steady gaze locking with the biker's fiery stare. His voice, deep and composed, broke the silence. "I'm just here for a cup of coffee," he said, his tone unwavering yet sharp. "But if you'd like to talk, I'm more than willing to listen." At the counter, Emily, the young barista, struggled to steady her trembling hands as she prepared a cup of coffee. Her eyes darted nervously toward Tucker, whose posture was tense, his demeanor ready to explode. She knew she had to step in before the situation spiraled further. "Come on, Tucker," Emily said, her voice soft yet filled with urgency. "He's just here for coffee. Not everyone wearing that hat is as bad as you think." Tucker turned sharply toward her, his expression a mix of irritation and disbelief. "Emily, you're too young to understand," he said, his tone almost scolding. "That hat represents everything we don't want to see around here." Musk took a small step back, as if to give the rising tension some room to dissipate. But instead of leaving, he met Tucker's fiery gaze with unwavering calm. "I don't believe a hat can define an entire person," Musk said, his voice steady and composed. "But if that's how you see it, I respect your perspective." As Elon stepped out of the cafe, the lights from the Christmas tree cast a flickering glow on his red hat, creating an almost otherworldly shimmer. The cafe fell into an uneasy silence. A few customers stared down at their coffee cups, avoiding eye contact, while others exchanged awkward glances. Emily stood frozen behind the counter, overwhelmed by a strange mix of emotions: embarrassment, empathy, and a flicker of admiration for the calm, collected man who had just walked away. Tucker returned to his seat, but the tension in his chest refused to settle. He glanced at the Christmas tree, its twinkling lights still as bright as ever, yet somehow it no longer radiated the same warmth it once had. No one in the cafe could have imagined that the man they had just dismissed would return soon, carrying a gift far greater than anyone could have anticipated. A gift more extraordinary than even the magic of the Christmas tree itself. The Christmas tree in the corner of the cafe still shone brightly, its twinkling lights trying in vain to dispel the lingering tension that hung in the air. Elon Musk had left, carrying with him an almost otherworldly calm. Yet what he left behind was a simmering flame, a fire of controversy and rising emotions. Tucker returned to his seat, his group of bikers resuming their laughter, though their chuckles carried an unmistakable hint of unease. Their eyes betrayed a subtle discomfort, a silent acknowledgement of something deeper left unsaid. Behind the counter, Emily stood motionless, her hands gripping the edge for support. It felt as though a heavy weight pressed down on her chest, a mix of guilt, confusion, and something she couldn't quite name. The sparkle of the Christmas tree, once so warm and inviting, now seemed distant, a reminder of the unresolved emotions that filled the room. Just minutes after Musk left the cafe, a customer sitting quietly in the corner, who had remained silent throughout the entire incident, pressed the upload button on their phone. The glow of the screen illuminated their face like a spark igniting a flame. The video, titled "Billionaire Denied Service Over MAGA Hat," quickly garnered thousands of views, setting off a storm of online reactions. Anger, sympathy, and confusion swept through viewers as they questioned, how could a place claiming to welcome everyone refuse someone simply because of a hat? Within hours, the short clip capturing Elon Musk being denied service had amassed millions of views. The comment section was flooded with polarized emotions. One group harshly criticized the cafe, labeling it an act of discrimination based on personal opinions. Others rallied behind Tucker, defending his actions as an attempt to protect the familiar space from divisive symbols. Some were shocked, even moved, when they realized the man in the video wasn't just any customer. It was Elon Musk, one of the most influential figures in the world. "How can we judge an entire person based solely on what they wear on their head?" read one particularly poignant comment, earning thousands of likes and sparking even deeper reflection. Inside Rusty Roasters, the atmosphere grew heavier than ever. Linda, the cafe owner, was inundated with phone calls from acquaintances and longtime customers, their voices laced with concern or judgment. She sat silently in her small office at the back, her hands gripping a now cold cup of tea. Her gaze drifted toward the Christmas tree visible through the glass window. Its shimmering lights, once a symbol of warmth and inclusivity, now seemed to mock her, reminding her that the cafe, once known as a haven of friendliness and unity, had become the epicenter of criticism. Linda let out a long sigh. "I should have stepped in," she whispered, her voice tinged with guilt and regret. Meanwhile, Emily, who had witnessed everything unfold, felt a heavy weight settle on her heart. The laughter of Tucker and his biker friends, once familiar and unremarkable, now seemed distant and alien to her. Tears welled up in her eyes as she thought about the man who had walked away, not with anger or resentment, but with a calm gaze that seemed to pierce through the chaos, as if he understood everything without needing to speak. Who is he? Emily wondered, her thoughts swirling with a mix of curiosity and quiet admiration. Meanwhile, in a different corner of the city, Elon Musk sat in his office, his gaze fixed on a computer screen playing the now viral video. A faint smile tugged at the corners of his lips, but it wasn't one of satisfaction. His eyes reflected something far deeper: thoughtfulness, layered with a spark of determination. "This situation is fascinating," he said to his assistant, his voice calm but deliberate. "Not because they turned me away, but because of how people are reacting. This is an opportunity to do something more meaningful." Musk didn't waste any time. He called his team together and quickly organized a special meeting. As they gathered around the conference table, he spread out a bold new plan. It wasn't about revenge or shaming anyone. It was about transforming the incident into a powerful lesson for everyone. While Linda, Emily, and Tucker wrestled with their conflicting emotions, Elon Musk was already taking action. What none of them could have anticipated was that the very next morning, Musk would return to Rusty Roasters, not just for a cup of coffee, but to deliver an extraordinary gift. A gift that had the potential to change everything. The morning sky over Austin was painted with a soft layer of mist, cloaking the city in an enchanting calm. Yet, inside Rusty Roasters, that tranquility was nothing but a facade. The argument from the day before lingered heavily in the air, an unspoken tension gripping the hearts of the cafe's staff and regulars alike. Tucker sat quietly in his usual corner, his calloused hands tapping a restless rhythm on the table. Across the room, Emily wiped down the counter, her gaze drifting toward the shimmering Christmas tree. But her thoughts were far away, replaying the image of the man who had walked out so silently, the bold red hat still vivid in her mind. The stillness of the morning was suddenly shattered by an unexpected sound, the smooth, near-silent hum of Tesla Model X's and Cybertrucks pulling up outside the cafe. The low whirring of electric engines drew every eye to the windows. Tucker, Emily, and the rest of the patrons turned toward the door, their faces a mix of surprise and curiosity. Whatever was happening, it was far from ordinary. As the door of the first Tesla swung open, Elon Musk stepped out, still dressed in his usual understated outfit, and, to everyone's astonishment, wearing the same bold MAGA hat. But this time, he wasn't alone. Following behind him was a team of Tesla engineers in uniform, armed with cutting-edge equipment and stacks of detailed documents. Musk strode into the cafe with his characteristic calm, but his piercing gaze swept through the room, commanding attention and silence. For a moment, it felt as if the entire cafe had frozen in time. No one uttered a word. They could only stare, their expressions a mixture of shock and awe. Musk's presence didn't just bring surprise. It carried an indescribable sense of reverence, a realization that something extraordinary was about to unfold. Linda, the cafe owner, hurried out of her office, her steps quick and uncertain. She still hadn't fully grasped what was happening, but the concern in her eyes was unmistakable. "Mr. Musk, I'm so sorry about what happened yesterday. If I had known who you were, I would—" Musk raised his hand gently, signaling her to stop. "There's no need to apologize," he said in a calm, steady voice. "I didn't come here to discuss the past. I came to talk about the future." Those words hung in the air, leaving everyone, from Linda and Emily to Tucker, momentarily stunned. Musk stepped forward to the center of the cafe, his gaze sweeping over the room, meeting each face with quiet intention. "I see incredible potential here," he began. "Yesterday, I observed something important. Rusty Roasters isn't just a cafe. It's a community, a place where people connect, where ideas have the power to grow. And I want to transform this space into a true symbol of progress." Linda stammered, still trying to process his words. "What do you mean by that?" Musk smiled. "I want to partner with you. I'm willing to fund the transformation of Rusty Roasters into the first cafe in Austin to operate entirely on Tesla's clean energy solutions. Solar power, energy storage, and advanced energy management systems. But it doesn't stop there. I want this place to become a hub for innovation, where people can come to learn, to collaborate, and to share ideas." As Linda and the others stood in stunned silence, Tucker rose from his seat, his expression clouded with skepticism. "Sounds nice and all," he said, his voice laced with a hint of sarcasm. "But why are you really doing this? Just to prove you're better than the rest of us? Musk turned to face Tucker, his gaze softening, though his tone remained firm and resolute. No, not to prove anything, he said. I'm doing this because I believe that even in the most challenging moments, we can find opportunities to learn and grow. Tucker felt a jolt deep within him, as though Musk's words had struck a long-buried chord. Memories flooded back, of his days as a skilled mechanic, full of promise and talent, only to be sidelined by the shifting tides of industry and technology. The bitterness, frustration, and quiet insecurity he had carried for so long seemed to rise to the surface, laid bare by Musk's unwavering belief in the power of progress. Musk continued, Tucker, I see great potential in you. Emily told me you used to be a skilled mechanic. I want to invite you to join this project, not just to help install the system, but to lead the team and transform this cafe into a true symbol of innovation. The cafe fell silent. Tucker stood frozen, disbelief etched across his face. Are you serious? He asked, his voice hoarse with emotion. Musk smiled gently. I don't say things I don't believe. Linda, now free of any doubts, nodded her agreement to Musk's proposal. Emily, her eyes shimmering with emotion, stepped closer to Tucker and said softly, You deserve this chance, Tucker. This could be your moment to start over. Tucker lowered his head, his thoughts a whirlwind of emotions. After a moment of reflection, he lifted his gaze, determination shining in his eyes. All right, he said firmly. I'll do it. In the warm glow of the Christmas tree, the tension and prejudice of the previous day began to fade, replaced by a sense of hope and determination. Yet, what Linda, Emily, and Tucker didn't realize was that Elon Musk's vision extended far beyond this little cafe. He had seen something greater, a chance to not only transform a single community, but to redefine how the world views innovation and the power of human connection. The gentle midday sunlight filtered through the large glass windows of Rusty Roasters, but the atmosphere inside the cafe was completely transformed. A week had passed since Elon Musk's unexpected return with his groundbreaking proposal. The initial skepticism that had clouded the minds of many had gradually shifted into a buzz of excitement and anticipation. The humble cafe, once overshadowed by prejudice, had now become the center of a revolution, not just in technology, but in the way people perceived one another and their capacity for change. Emily stood behind the counter, her hands trembling slightly as she pushed a latte toward a customer. But this time, it wasn't fear coursing through her veins like it had during Tucker's confrontation with Elon Musk. Instead, it was a mix of pride and anticipation. Who would have thought? She wondered silently, her eyes drifting to the corner of the cafe where Tucker sat, deeply engrossed in technical documents, alongside Tesla's team of engineers. For a brief moment, Emily's gaze landed on the Christmas tree still standing in its usual spot. But now, it seemed to carry a different meaning. The twinkling lights felt like a quiet reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always a glimmer of hope. She couldn't stop herself from thinking, maybe this isn't just a change for one cafe. Maybe this is the start of something bigger, something that touches the hearts of everyone who sees it. From the very first day, Tesla's team of engineers, led by Tucker, began installing the clean energy system. Solar panels were carefully mounted onto the cafe's roof, seamlessly integrated with Tesla Powerwall storage systems. The transformation didn't just reduce the cafe's electricity costs, it allowed Rusty Roasters to operate entirely on renewable energy, setting a new standard for sustainability in the community. Tucker, once a man defined by his rigid demeanor and simmering anger, now seemed transformed. Not only had he learned to embrace new technologies, but he also stepped up to lead his biker group in the project. We used to think we'd been left behind, he said to his team, his voice thick with emotion. But Elon has shown us that sometimes opportunities only come when we're brave enough to confront our own mistake. Linda, the cafe owner, seized this opportunity to revitalize the space. She added a small exhibit showcasing renewable energy, where customers could learn about the Tesla systems installed on site. Slowly but surely, the cafe's regulars began to return, not just to enjoy their favorite coffee, but to immerse themselves in the inspiring atmosphere of transformation and innovation. As the project neared completion, Elon Musk returned to check on the progress. Seeing Tucker and his biker crew working seamlessly alongside Tesla's engineers, he nodded slightly, a look of quiet satisfaction in his eyes. "I've always believed that technology shouldn't be reserved for a select few," he said during a gathering with the cafe staff. "It's a bridge, a way to bring all of us closer together." Linda felt her eyes sting with tears. Musk's words weren't just about technology. They were a profound lesson in how we can overcome prejudice to truly see the value in one another. Seeing the transformation of the cafe, Emily felt something stir deep within her, a dream she had once thought was out of reach. One evening, summoning all her courage, she approached Elon Musk as he was speaking with Linda. "Mr. Musk," she began, her voice trembling but her eyes resolute. I want to learn more about technology. Is there any chance I could be part of projects like this?" Musk smiled warmly and nodded. "Of course. I believe every talent deserves to be nurtured. As long as you're willing to learn, I'll support you." A spark ignited in Emily's heart, a flame that burned with newfound hope. The dream of becoming an engineer was no longer a far-fetched fantasy. It was a real possibility. One day, after everything was completed, Tucker approached Musk, his eyes filled with gratitude. "Mr. Musk," he began, his voice raspy with emotion, "I don't know how to thank you. You didn't just give me a job. You gave me a reason to believe in myself again." Musk placed a reassuring hand on Tucker's shoulder. "Sometimes all we need is a chance, and you, Tucker, have made the most of it." The Christmas tree now shone brighter than ever, standing as a beacon of transformation. But what had unfolded at Rusty Roasters was only the beginning. Musk's vision didn't stop with a small cafe. He saw a much greater opportunity, a global initiative where technology and humanity could come together to shape a better future. The lights of the Christmas tree still twinkled in the corner of Rusty Roasters. But now, it was more than just a symbol of the holiday season. Each tiny bulb seemed to tell a story of transformation, of people overcoming prejudice to create something extraordinary. Rusty Roasters was no longer just a cafe. It had become a place where hearts connected, where aspirations were reignited, and where opportunities flourished. Tucker, once consumed by prejudice and anger, now stood at the counter with a completely transformed demeanor. He was no longer rigid or unapproachable, but had become a strong, compassionate leader. "I used to think there was no place for me in this world," Tucker shared with a group of curious customers asking about his journey. "But then I realized, if I didn't change the way I saw things, I'd always be standing on the outside, missing every opportunity." Tucker not only led his biker crew to successfully install the clean energy system at Rusty Roasters, but he also inspired others in the community to see the value in learning and innovation. His story resonated far and wide, touching the lives of old friends and strangers alike, people who, like Tucker once did, believed they had no second chances left in life. In a quiet corner of the cafe, Emily sat writing the first lines of her research report. Just a few months ago, she had been hesitant and uncertain about her future. But now, with Elon Musk's support, Emily was enrolled in a renewable energy engineering course at the local university. Each day after her shift, Emily devoted time to learning about advanced technology systems. Occasionally, she would glance at the glowing Christmas tree, a silent reminder that every dream begins with a small spark of hope. "I never thought I'd have this opportunity," she admitted to Linda, her eyes filled with gratitude. "But now I know that anything is possible if we keep believing in ourselves." Linda, the cafe owner, couldn't hide her pride as she looked around her transformed cafe. The walls, once adorned with generic social justice slogans, now told real stories, photographs capturing the cafe's journey of change, heartfelt messages from customers, and dedicated corners where visitors could learn about clean energy technology. Rusty Roasters had become a true community hub. Workshops, small classes, and heartfelt conversations among customers now formed the heart and soul of the space. For Linda, the significance of this transformation went far beyond profits. "This is about people," she thought to herself, her heart full. "About how we change each other, little by little." During an end-of-year gathering at the cafe, Elon Musk addressed a group of customers and staff with his characteristic calm and insight. Rusty Roasters stands as proof that sometimes the hardest moments can lead to the greatest opportunities. Prejudice, misunderstandings, or any other obstacles are not the end. We just need the patience to listen, the composure to learn, and the courage to change. He paused briefly, his gaze sweeping across the room before settling on the faces of Tucker, Emily, and Linda. "Technology may be the bridge," Musk continued, his voice resonating with conviction. "But it is the human heart that holds the key. When we combine the two, there is nothing we cannot achieve." On that Christmas Eve, the Christmas tree at Rusty Roasters glowed more brilliantly than ever. Yet, the true radiance wasn't from the twinkling lights on the tree. It came from the eyes and smiles of people who had learned to overcome prejudice and discover opportunities even in the face of adversity. As a regular customer left the cafe that night, they wrote on the small message board placed by the door, "This isn't just a cafe. This is where hope begins and where people find one another." As the Christmas tree continued to shine, this story wasn't just about Rusty Roasters, it was about all of us. Life will bring moments that test your faith, but always remember, somewhere out there, opportunities are waiting for you. We wish you and your family a joyful, warm, and love-filled Christmas season. May the light of kindness and hope guide every path you take. If this story touched your heart, be sure to hit subscribe to our channel, Inspiring Hearts, today. We are dedicated to bringing you more inspiring stories, meaningful lessons, and moments that move the soul. Share this video and help us spread the light of hope and connection during this festive season. Wishing you a truly Merry Christmas.